Welcome back, YouTube. Boonheadshot here. Today, we're gonna walk and talk through a 15 Mechagon Workshop. Um, I think this is the first Mechagon I've posted, so that's why I want to kind of talk about everything, because this applies to all levels of the key. As a rogue, if you go for the big pull like this, make sure that you have one of the casters as your priority target, and do not miss your kick. That is all you really get to do as an assassination rogue on this for those interrupts. So they are immune to blind. Save cloak for any emergencies. We're running with two demon hunters, so we've got the use of darkness that we can utilize that'll save us a little bit. But make sure that those caster bombs go down. If they get their casts off, it is game over. So again, principles, they have not changed. Vanish when their health is getting around 30-40%, and get as many improved garrotes and ruptures out as you can before finishing with a Crimson Tempest to get that higher sudden demise proc to drop them all quickly. Moving into this first fight, you want to be focusing on the stand-up mech. The tank has less health. You should be cleaving onto the actual tank and priority focusing the walker mech. So the pummeler needs to go down first. The tank will do an unavoidable flip there. You saw the circle around somebody. It will throw you way high into the air, and as the fight goes on, you're seeing these mines come out. If you touch one of those, you are certainly dead. So make sure that if you are getting flipped, that you're landing in a safe spot. If you're a rogue, make sure that you always have a shadow step ready to go, because the second you leave the ground after he applies the flipper for you, you can shadow step back to the target and get back on doing damage. Tanks, one thing that you can watch here if you are tanking this, say if you need to slow down the DPS on the pummeler and your DPS aren't paying attention and swapping to the actual tank itself, you can leave that walker's plating up until you feel it is good to remove it with the hammers around the arena. Ideally, you shouldn't have to do that, but it is an idea that you can employ if your DPS are just tunnel visioning the pummeler. So there you see the hammer coming out, removing the plating. He is now taking damage again. Other than that, this fight isn't too terrible. He's got that AoE that comes out. We can feint and we can use our health potion through it. There's the flipper again. As soon as I'm in the air, shadow step back down. One thing to be careful of, remember that shadow step puts you behind your target. So depending on where your target's looking, if there's a mine on its butt, do not shadow step and just take the free ride through the air. Because you will shadow step back down to the mine and that will explode you. I think that's everything we really need to talk about. The tank itself also does like a frontal charge on somebody as well. You just have to get out of the lines. Okay, after this boss, now we have pretty big groups of packs here. We've got an extractor, or no, he's a unit in this one. But they do like the same thing, big AoE pulse that's going to come out. And then there is those gunks that put up a heal through shield that you need to blind or kidney shot to stop. It stresses the healer here. But other than that, this is just a big pack rotation. Bleeds, Shiv, Crimson Tempest. See me utilizing mouse over there. If the tanks aren't moving and the group's going to stay still, as long as you're not moving, your bars will stay still for you, making it easy to mouse over new targets and get out a lot of bleeds. Banish goes out after we were able to get the groups packed together tightly. We were waiting for that unit to patrol out of the way. The tank did not want to play games with that, with this group of the guard dogs. The dogs will put flaming dots on people, and it can hurt, and it can do a lot of damage. So you need to be watching for that debuff getting applied to you, and cloak it if the healer's struggling. Moving into the boss, you just saw that cube come down. Don't let it crush you. You do not have a lot of time to get out of its path. And now we are hiding behind it. If you do not hide behind it during the venting flames, it will kill you. You can cloak it, so if your cooldowns are coming up, as well as that venting flames mechanic, cloak through the flames and give your healer an anxiety attack while you do the damage uninterrupted. And you'll see that probably happen here in 1 or 2 cycles as I get ready to do it. Cooldowns are out now, and you're going to see cloak happen. There it is. And then rinse and repeat. When you get those red circles around you, the boss is going to charge to everybody, like the ads that only charge to one person. He charges to 3 and affects anybody inside that circle. Additionally, if that circle's around the box, it will heat up the box and then blow the box up during venting flames and wipe the party. So be careful not to catch the box in that circle. So as you can see, this fight does last long enough for you to use your cooldowns twice here. So go ahead and give your healer 2 anxiety attacks. Highly recommended. They love it. After Cujo, your 2-minute cooldowns should be back for this pack. I always send it here just because the Mark III is a pain to deal with, and you'll get more damage dealt faster to a group of 3 than you will the little mini boss that comes out after this guy. So too slow, rogue. Usually I can hit that. So as a rogue with your sprint up, as long as you never stop trying to run through the maze, it does require some practice. You can catch that vent in time. And now we're stuck back here waiting. So feels bad, but we get through it. Now, in these higher keys, you can hide in that shield as long as there's no squirrel about to blow up. In the higher key, the squirrel will still kill you, and you definitely want to cloak through it or get out of its circle altogether. Otherwise, you can hang out in the shield for all of the other damage that gets sent your way, but the squirrel is still deadly at a 15. As we move into the garden boss, the biggest thing to take away from this is the sheer amount of movement that you have to do and have to keep watching for. The ad at this range, you should be looking for it. You should have a shadow step ready with a combo point, at least one combo point for kidney shot. You can stun that flower so that the damage stops going out. Put your bleeds on the flower and then go back to the boss. It will die pretty quickly, but you do want to be ready to instantly teleport to it and stop its damage as quickly as possible. Aside from that, this is just a very mobile fight. Keep an eye on the gears bouncing around. They do not bounce randomly. They actually follow the rules of geometry. So depending on the angle that it approaches, it will bounce off in a complementary angle of it. So you can kind of anticipate its next movement and where it's going to be going. All that being said, it is still very chaotic, and you can easily get pinched if the tank makes a wrong move and puts the boss in a bad spot, or you get those explosions in a bad spot. So if it gets kind of hot in one area, don't hesitate to move. So we've got the flower about to come back out here. I think it comes out right after the discombobulate. There it is. And I shadow step just to close the distance, and shadow step again with kidney shot ready. Some things that you can mitigate: you can cloak through discombobulate, you can cloak through the explosions, you can cloak through the spinning laser. So if you get into a tight spot, don't hesitate to hit Cloak of Shadows. And flower out, flower stunned. Now, moving on to this. This is one of the harder pulls in here. This is a healer check. You want to try to kill the tank at the top of the ramp first. If you don't know, once he dies, that triggers the roleplay cinematic where the transport will start flying down. It will save you some time if you drop that high-rise tank first. Use your evasion here, use your cloak here. The constant damage coming out from their missile barrages is a difficult one to deal with. You are seeing us link those darknesses together, and then the spirit link itself comes out. So a tough pull here. Definitely make sure that you are not overlapping your big defensives. keep an eye on what's been used, what still needs to be used, and whether or not you need to then use yours as a rogue, because you do have some pretty good survivability. Alright, we are on our final approach to the final boss. With the exception of the healer, we're like an all melee group, and I kind of feel like the melee groups are really good for this boss fight coming up, and we'll talk about it more as we get in there. But for now, this is a big pull. This is a combination of those pain in the butt mechs as well as the tinkerers with the squirrels. So the mechs do that AoE similar to the AoE from the first boss. So when you see those shockwaves coming out, use your feint. Utilize those shields, as you saw me back up into one, just to save on the damage going out. We are utilizing a skip here as I get everybody ready. To properly shroud, you want to kind of sit towards the back. You want to let the tank go forward first, because those big mechs have true sight, and if they see you next to the other groups that can't see you, now they all see you, and now you're in combat with a big pack, and that is probably a wipe. Alright, so as we move into King Mechagon, he has orbs pop out. There they are now. They look like little depth charge mines for underwater, but they jump to a player's location, similar to the orbs from Season 1. You just have to watch out for which way they are traveling and where they are going to land, because they do AoE when they hit the ground as well as when they are moving if you get hit by them. A good strategy here for this, if you're not all melee, is to kind of stack up. You can bait where those orbs are going, and then you can easily move just around the room to stay out of their way. So you can kind of see there, they're going to group up. The healer was the only one kind of out of the group, but for everybody else here, since we're already naturally stacking, you'll see that the orbs are really easy to manage. When he shoots into the air, he will target somebody. Watch out for those eyeballs above your head and run away. As you get targeted with that arrow over your head, just stand still. It'll be everybody else's job to move away from you. As we go into phase 2, he actually does that to 3 different targets, so it can be a little chaotic between having to stand still and move away from the orbs, or try to use damage mitigation whenever he activates the magnetic coil. One of the tips that you can try to do here is stand maximum melee range, and then you can run in closer just to stay on the boss with more uptime, and then you kind of shuffle back out to max melee, so you kind of go in and out, in and out. Here you can see us using the first darkness with the magnetic coil, because that does party-wide damage, and it is difficult to heal through without externals helping mitigate that damage. This fight can be a bit chaotic. Keep an eye. You can see me spinning the camera there. Try to keep an eye on where those orbs are going. And be ready with your feints, your cloaks for the magnetic coil if you can't catch the externals from your party to keep yourself alive. And it will go down. That's pretty much the dungeon. I appreciate all of you that stopped in to check it out. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.